According to Botanica's Book of Orchids, the orchid family, also known as Orchidaceae, is the largest group of flowering plants. There are 20 to 30,000 different species. Some of the most common and easiest to care for are the Phalaenopsis, also known as moth orchid, which I have here today, Dendrobiums, and Cattleyas. Three topics I'd like to touch on is the general care of an orchid, the anatomy of an orchid, and the care for the plant once the plant is done blooming. The American Orchid Society suggests an east or south facing window for your orchid in indirect sunlight. Direct sunlight could easily cause your leaves to burn. You also want to make sure in the winter you don't keep your plant too close to the window to avoid the leaves from freezing. Your leaf should be a light green color. A darker leaf suggests that the plant is getting improper amount of light. You want to water your orchid once a week, and you should never water over top of your plant. Watering over top of the leaves could cause water to get down into the axil of the leaf and cause your plant to rot, and the leaves will drop off. They do sell orchids that come with instructions telling you that you should water your orchid with ice cubes. I've never used this method. I've always used warm water to water my orchids, and I've always had success. I also like to use what is called a humidity tray. A humidity tray is a tray or small dish that you fill with stones or gravel, and you sit it underneath the pot of your orchid, and it gives it extra air ventilation and extra humidity from the stones. The most important part of watering your orchid is to always make sure that the medium that it's planted in dries out in between waterings. Fertilizing your orchid should take place about once a week. If your plant is extremely healthy, you could change your fertilization schedule to once a month. The week that you do fertilize your plant, you want to make sure you don't water it. So you want to alternate weeks with watering it and then fertilizing it. Secondly is the anatomy of an orchid. Most orchids have the same anatomy. There's 3 petals, which are in the center. One of the petals is called a lip, which is usually modified in some way by either shape or by color, sometimes by a distinct pattern such as blotches or stripes. And then there's 3 sepals, which are on the outsides. Next is the stem, which is also sometimes called the shoot. Along the shoot, there are these little nodes where new stems can form. At the base of the plant are the leaves. Underneath the leaves, in the medium that the plant is in, are the actual roots. There's also something called an air root, which grows on top of the surface, sometimes dangling off the pot. Most plants also have buds. This one doesn't have a bud, but a bud is just the formation, the start of the formation of a new flower petal. And thirdly is taking care of the plant once the plant has lost its petals and done blooming. You want to maintain the regular care schedule that you have for your plant, and you want to continue watering it the same way that you have before and continue fertilizing it. They also sell a fertilizer for plants to help get them to rebloom. It's called a bloom booster. But there are 3 different ways that you can get your plant to rebloom. You have to have a little bit of patience, but some people like to cut the entire stem down all the way to the base. Some like to leave the stem completely the way that it was once the flowers fall off. And others like to cut the stem all the way down to the second node and then continue to water it. You should get new blooms as long as you take care of the plant within 8 to 12 weeks. Orchids aren't as scary as they look, and they are easy to care for. They're not difficult to care for, and they're no different than any other house plant as long as you take care of them. Thank you.